Suppose we want to amplify a gene that is a segment of DNA. Let's say human alpha globin gene. Amplification basically means increasing the number of copy of that particular gene. So in order to increase the number of copy of the gene, we can use polymerase chain reaction where the number of copy of genes will be amplified in a chain-wise manner using polymerase. So first we need a target DNA molecule which we want to amplify. Now to amplify it, we need primers, that is oligonucleotides, which will bind to the DNA and then carry out the reaction. Well, as we do in PCR in lab, we need to construct specific primers for that which will actually bind to the DNA sequence. So we can ask that how primers work. Actually, appropriate sequences for primers can be created because the target DNA molecule gene of interest which we need to amplify has flanking sequences, as we may not know the sequence of the entire gene. But if we do know that where the gene is found, then we can easily make our primers bind to it. So flanking sequences are those sequences of DNA which surrounds, that is flanks, the target DNA. Now we know the flanking sequence which has surrounded our target DNA, that is gene of interest. So easily primers can be made which will be complementary but not identical to its template strand, that is strand which codes, that is serves as a template. Now those primers can hybridize with this strand. But wait, for primers to bind to the strand, don't we need to separate the double-stranded DNA molecule? Think. Yes, we need to first separate out the double-stranded DNA, for which we will heat it to 92 degrees Celsius, some say it 94 degrees Celsius. Heating it at 92 degrees Celsius actually breaks the base pairs and releases single-stranded DNA. As hydrogen bonds between the two strands will be broken due to heating, we have got now two single-stranded DNA. So the first step is denaturation. Now, as the double-stranded DNA has been broken up, we can easily make our primers bind to it, isn't it? As we already know where exactly our DNA molecule gene of interest is there, that is the flanking sequences, as we have already made primer for that. So now we only need to anneal the DNA primers. That is, we are now moving towards the second step of annealing. Each phase has its own requirement. For example, for denaturation, we had to heat the solution to 94 degrees Celsius. So for annealing too, we need to bring down the temperatures to 54 degrees Celsius, as this is the right temperature for the primers to hybridize to the 3' end of the two single-stranded strand, as we can see in the picture, as DNA synthesis takes from 5' to 3'. Look at the picture carefully, we understand. Now we may ask that why the single-stranded DNA cannot be again made into double-stranded DNA. So the simple answer is that already the primers have been binded just after decreasing the temperature. The solution contains primers, pre-made primers. This annealing temperature is very important as it can affect the specificity of the reaction. Actually, we need to determine the annealing temperature using Tm, that is the melting temperature or of the primer template hybrid, by using the formula shown here, which is Tm is equal to in bracket 4 into bracket G plus C plus again in bracket 2 into A plus T. Tm is the temperature at which correctly base pair hybrids dissociates, and a temperature just 1-2 degrees Celsius below the Tm is low enough to allow the correct primer template hybrid to form, but at the same time too high for a hybrid with a single mismatch to be stable. So to sum up, after denaturation step, we now went to annealing step, as we know the sequences which flank the target DNA molecule. Annealing temperature is then determined by formula that at which temperature DNA primers will bind. Generally, it's done at 55 degrees Celsius or near the temperature. Acha, I have said that annealing temperature can affect the specificity of reaction. Look at the diagram why this is important. In the first picture, as we can see, If annealing temperature is too high, primers and templates can be easily dissociated. In contrast, in the second picture, we can see if it's too low, then the correct pair may not be formed. And in the third picture, clearly shows that only the correct annealing temperature primer occurs at the desired sites. Acha, now primers have been binded and step 2 has been completed, that is the annealing step. Now using common sense we can say that the primers will be extended, then only new copy of DNA strands will be made, isn't it? तो क्या ये अपने आप होगा? No, we need something which will extend it, and here the DNA polymerase 1 enzyme comes into the picture. Even the reaction is known as polymerase chain reaction. We are doing chain reaction using polymerase enzyme. Well, we mix all the components in a beaker actually in lab for PCR, where in the first step we denature it at 92 degrees Celsius or 94 degrees Celsius. But even DNA polymerase তো একটা এনজাইম নাকি থোড়ি না কাজ করবে নর্মাল এনজাইম কোনো এত টেম্পারেচারে দ্যাট ইজ নর্মালি enzymes may get denatured at 92 degrees Celsius, which we do in the first step of denaturation. I have already said we all mix all the components in a single thing. So for this reason only a special enzyme, the special enzyme is Taq polymerase. Taq polymerase is used, which is isolated from an extremophilic organism, Thermus aquaticus. As its enzyme works in high temperature, the organism actually lives in hot spring, that is where temperature is very much high. So its enzyme will also be specialized. It is Taq polymerase. Well, nowadays even recombinant Taq polymerase can be used. We all know we need to evolve a process to make it better. So using Taq polymerase we can extend the primer. Again, to sum up, first we did the denaturation of DNA strand, then we amplify it using primers and then extend it using Taq polymerase. But at the annealing temperature, we reduce the temperature to 50 to 60 degrees Celsius, which we will determine using that mathematical formula. But do you think it will be the same in this step too? No, it's actually raised to 74 degrees Celsius. Here too some say it's 72 degrees Celsius, as this is the optimal temperature of Taq polymerase where it works efficiently. We all know each enzyme has an optimum temperature where it works efficiently. Now the DNA synthesis smoothly occurs. We can see in the picture how it works after 3 steps. But the reason we are doing polymerase chain reaction is to get many copies of the genes, isn't it? But after first copy we have got only 2 copies of the DNA molecule. So next we have to repeat the cycle again. We will again denature. We will use both the strand and we'll use the primers. Primers are of 2 types: forward primers and reverse primers. Primers are generally of 7 to 13 nucleotides with 50% GC content. Why it's of 50% GC content? So that it doesn't get denatured, as I have already said that we mix all the things, put all the things in a single thing. So if the primer has more GC content, as it has stronger hydrogen bonding, it won't be affected. Now draw this in a copy and show how is it. This will be the structure where we can get even millions of copies of our several chain reactions. If we do PCR 20 times, we will have 10 lakhs, or that is over 1 million copies using 2 to the power n formula. Well, we can check PCR experiment results using gel electrophoresis. We can also clone PCR products and sequence it. Even many disease such as COVID-19 is diagnosed using modified form of PCR, that is real-time reverse transcriptase PCR, about which we may discuss later. This whole experiment, some points should be noted, that is, in the priming step, length of primers is important, as too short of primers might hybridize even to non-target sites, that is those sites which whose copy we don't want, and too long may hybridize at a slower rate. So rarely more than 30 mer primers are used. Annealing temperature is very important. So guys, I hope this is clear, and if you have any queries or if you have any suggestion,